literally every scene in that movie, you carried that movie, you know, all the way. That must have been a heavy burden on your shoulders because...
No, the folks support, let me tell you, the supporting cast was brilliant. I must say, Julie T. Wallace, that young lady from England, she was very brilliant, you know, and we actors, we have a thing, we say we feed each other. So you feel the moment when you're with her, with the other character, person playing the other character. And so it became easy because you both believed in the moment. So it was easy with her. And it was likewise for Carl Bradshaw, you know, a veteran Jamaican actor. And Rosemary Murray, many other Jamaican actors, Reggie Carter, you know, who's since passed on, you know. But it was a brilliant effort by everyone.
Yeah, it was an amazing film, and I would recommend everybody see that. I know you have a lot of projects coming up. I know you're in demand all the time. It's taken me almost a year and a half just to catch up with you. That's how busy you are and how in demand you are. And I appreciate the time. Are there any projects that you can tell us about? I know of one which I would speak about in a minute real quickly, but are there anything that you can mention right now? Because I know contractual agreements and stuff like this don't always permit you to speak about future projects.
Well, almost 20 years ago, I shot a film called Shottas. Gangster. I played a character by the name of Mad Max. And so that's coming on board again. Shottas 2, a sequel. So I'm looking forward to that. I mean, again, I try to, like I do with every one of the characters that I get a chance to work with, I'm very detailed as an actor. So once again, I get an opportunity to... I made him psychotic the last time. Of course, yes, he will still have a little bit of that, you know, but he has to up the thing a little bit. You know, it's the entertainment industry and they anticipate something, you know. So, I mean, and you always have to, as an actor, to always... This is great, you know, because it pushes you, it challenges you. You've got to be outdoing yourself each time. So, I'm really excited about that project.
Well, I'm excited about it because I saw the original one
and
a lot of the original movies. And
that was a lifetime ago, 20 years.
Yeah, let's not talk about it too much, so I hate it. But I also remember, I know that there's a film that we're working on, Odisfarce, and Leroy Brown chronicles that. We know that you're going to be doing some part in that.
Yes, sir. Hopefully
a major part in that film. And you're going to be playing a very deep character again in that project. How do you feel? I mean, I wanted you to be in this film someone that was both evil and at the same time not inhumane, you know. And
no, you have that walking around every day.
Yeah, it's a balance.
Evil but not inhumane. Evil but not inhumane. All right. How do you separate? But yes, I mean, if there is justification, you know, because I've played many characters, villainous guys who are just absolutely, you know, brutal about how they go about executing whatever. But they do it because, you know, they've been molested at a young age, or they grew up on the streets in a very rough neighborhood, a very rough life, or somebody did really something atrocious to them where they have to somehow vent. They feel justified, and you, the audience member, become that feeling of justification. So, yeah, you can get away with it saying, yes, yeah, you're evil, yet, you know, not inhumane, you know, yeah, but you have to justify it.
Well, I mean, we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to Shottas. I know you're very busy. I want to talk about another side to you, which is your art, in a minute. But before I get onto your art, I wanted to talk about Jamaica very quickly, just ask you about Jamaica, your country, and how you feel about your position in the history of Jamaica. To me, you are part of the fabric and the DNA of Jamaican television and music, but it's changed, it's grown, it's developed, it's where it is now. How do you feel, maybe this is not a fair question because it's subjective, but how do you feel about your position in Jamaican culture and history?
My position is insignificant, really, in that if you think about it, there have been so many people of my liking, people like myself, people of greater ilk, you know, Jamaicans who have contributed to the development of the world. Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Louise Bennett, you know, so many Jamaicans, poets, doctors, physicians, fast athletes, brilliant physicists, you know, all these people who are Jamaicans or Caribbean people who have put, what is important to me is not necessarily how I am viewed, but what is passed on, you know, what is left as a legacy. You know, I think it's important that you pass it on. I teach, you know, in the summers I teach. I think it's important that you show them how. Show them how by way, and if you do that, they'll be able to tell their own stories. And nobody tells a story like the storyteller, you know, and that's mostly the authenticity of it. Usually people telling your story never is always truthful, but you know, you need to tell your own story, and if you show them how to do so in a very cost-effective way, like I have an initiative called Shoot with the Camera, Not with a Gun, where I go to schools, and within 3 days what I do, I sit with the students, I talk to them about any story. Talk to me about your life, where you live. They talk about they live in the suppressed areas and the drugs, so we talk about that and we come up with a story. I go back to the hotel that night, I quickly pen something together, I come up with a script. The next morning we come together, we choose the cast, usually it's about 4 or 5 students. And then I have also students attached to the cameraman, the sound man, you know, and they're attached all day, every day. So everything the sound man does or the cameraman does, the student is on it. Sometimes they're holding camera as well. So it's that kind of thing. So by the end of the 3rd day, the film is shot, edited, and they're sitting there in the audience, and then the film starts rolling, and you see the look on their faces. Priceless, you know. It's worth it, because if just one of those students, if it sticks to just one, you know, it's worth it, Bridget.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
You definitely have inspired untold amount of people, including myself. You know, you've inspired me.
Good.
And I'm sure that people will come up to you and tell you what you've done for them, but most of the time you don't see this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel the pressure to give back all the time, or do you just find this the easy part of the game for you?
No, my mother used to say, don't give away your ass and shit through your ribs. And it's true, you know, because people can be cold, but then if I'm coming from a mother who used to do the same thing, you know. I grew up in a house where there were people who were strangers, where my mother treated them just as she treated her own kids. So she sort of, I got the trait from her, you know. So it's all right too. I don't feel pressure in that it comes naturally, you know, so there is no pressure. Yeah.
Well, Paul, before we go on to quickly talk about your pictures.
My whom?
Your paintings. Sorry,
your
paintings.
Ah.
Which are pictures in themselves. Pictures of the soul, pictures of the heart.
That's all right.
What would you like to say would be, or what would you like to leave as your legacy? What do you want your legacy to be?
I just want to do the work. I'm involved in 110%. So whomever comes and gaze upon it, or, you know, they will understand that this man really did put out 110%, and this is what 110% looks like. So next time I'll try for 120, you know, and that'd be good. That'd be good stuff.
Well, thanks for your time.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to go into your, visit your art studio and talk about some of your paintings, your wonderful paintings.
All right, the inner workings of the madman.
Yeah, a little bit of the lunatic on
hardly.
canvas.
I give you a little joke. My sister was being interviewed one day by some publication person, and they asked her if, you know, your brother playing all these villains, you know, what is he like at home? And my sister said, Paul, if you stamp your foot too hard, Paul run gone. You know, so for those who really know, it's all good, you know, all peace and love. Let's go to the studio. Hello, I'm Paul Campbell, and this is the side of Paul Campbell that talks about the fine artist in me. This piece is called The Flower Girl. I've been painting now for over, well, for quite some time. I've always loved painting, well, not necessarily painting, but just to express myself by way of drawing, using the hands, molding, whatever. But where I grew up in the depressed areas of Kingston, Maxfield Avenue to be exact. And as a young boy, I can still remember going around and painting on the side of the zinc fences. This Rastaman or lions or whatever came up in my frivolous mind at the time. They were all green in color. Why? Because I couldn't afford paint, so I used to squeeze the chlorophyll out of the green of the leaves and make my own paint. So that went on for some time until I could get into other colors. Grumbacher, Winsor Newton, and all these other folks. Brand name paint. And luckily so, because now it affords me to do brilliant, vibrant work. I paint in vibrant colors because I like to get the audience attention. You know, sometimes the subject matter is not necessarily the greatest or the happiest, but the colors are very vibrant, and it's always going to have you have a look. Even for an instant, you are going to be taken. So I like the, and I love colors. Colors are great things, you know. Let me show you my palette. My palette is, in fact, a plate. I go through them. This is probably 3 weeks' work. That's a lot of paint, right? Yeah, but see how colorful this is? Yeah. I love painting. That's another way of expressing myself, saying some things that I cannot say in this politically correct world. And, you know, so I still can express it, you know, and then the greatest thing is that then you, the onlooker, will have to interpret in your own interpretation.